What's up, guys? Big up Matt Drifty Callum as always from Team Coppish. Man City 2, Liverpool 2. In the most gutting ways possible. Disappointing. I don't know. Still trying to process the whole thing an hour after kick-off here just to make my way from the bar. But it's just, we did come into the game knowing it was going to be a very hard game. I don't think that many Liverpool fans would have thought that this was going to be a very easy game. We're just going to roll over City. That wasn't the case. The reality was City were going to come and they were coming with a game plan. And so were Liverpool. But the reality is City, from the first 5 minutes, oh my God, City had us under pressure. I'm telling you, boys, how I was scared whenever City scored that first goal, because that gave me shades of the second leg where City where we go 1-0 down and in the first half, and it was all City at that point. That's exactly what they were trying to do to us. But then not long after that, Jota gets his goal, and you're thinking to yourself, oh my goodness, this is going to be some game here between two of the top teams in the Premier League, if not the world, in my opinion. And the reality is, after that, I think Liverpool didn't really do much in our attack. City City got the goal back. After that, from it was just again sloppy defending, and the first half for me was all City. Then the second half came, and after that you just felt that with Mane getting the goal back, you just think, oh my goodness, we could end up coming back and actually winning the thing. Because you think about it, Liverpool had the capabilities of doing that, to be fair, and it was the first time I've seen from a long time where Liverpool didn't really dominate after that in the second half. Again, it was all City, and it was just one of those scary and nerve-wracking games you don't ever want to go back to, because I don't want to go back to ever that again. But we ended up not losing the game, though. We ended up drawing the game. Still, for me, there's still a tight race, but after that, you just feel like there was a moment where you just thought we could have had the chance to go top today. Unfortunately, we didn't. But here, that's not to say the Premier League can be anything, guys. The Premier League can bring shocks and waves. That's the reality, and the reality is, I think we're still in a tight race, and you have to feel like we are still in tight race. We're only 1 point behind City, and City have got some hard games as well to come. They're not easy games. Liverpool as well. They'll have Man United, Tottenham, Everton to come. Them Wolves. So big games to come for Liverpool. But now we move on to, I think it's Benfica on Tuesday, but I think we'll rest players ahead of the City game for next week in the FA Cup semi-final. That'll be a bigger game, but hopefully it doesn't go to penalties. But who knows? But just got it overall. But luckily we didn't lose today. I'm actually grateful that we didn't lose. But there you go. What can you do? Big up Team Coppish as always, and I'll tell you this: going forward for the rest of the season, you will never walk alone, guys. Thank you.
Hey guys, hey Coppish, how you doing? You alright? Hope Matt, Callum, Drifty, you all doing well. Just a quick review, guys. I got my own channel as well, Rob Ramirez, starting off new on YouTube. But I just feel that we played the occasion today. I feel that we gave City way too much respect. Instead of doing the gegenpress, which we done in the first 5 minutes, and after the first 5 minutes, I've seen us doing it a bit in the second half as well. But I believe all the way through the game that at no point we were even, I'd say, in the game, because the reason for this is I feel that we played City's game. They played their possession football and we didn't play our gegenpress. Fabinho, for me, was very suspect through the game. He let De Bruyne free on numerous occasions. I don't even want to mention it. And there was that much space that we didn't. Something that Drifty mentioned, and that was going through my head as well. We're incapable at times to adapt to the game. We got our philosophy set in such a high way that we just don't want to adapt to the game, and that's what I feel that left us by, in terms of they were playing their game. We were not filling the spaces, and it's like half the time Sterling was just left alone. And I understand Robertson at the same time. I just feel that our wingers didn't push back as well. I understand if you're going to do the gegenpress, at the same time we've got the high line, but at the front the guys are not even pressing. And I also feel that we played the wrong three as well. I reckon, if I had to be honest, Luis Diaz should have started, which that didn't happen as well. Anyway, just a quick review. I think we're still in for the title. The quad is on, like Callum would say. And yeah, that's it. Big up Coppish. Have a nice day, guys. Look after yourself. Ta.
Big up, lads. A very intense game by two great teams. City scored within first 5 minutes a deflected goal by De Bruyne. It deflected on Matip, and Alisson couldn't save it from getting in the net. It's it's kind of funny because isn't that how the Anfield game ended? Uh, Similarly, where De Bruyne took a shot and then it hit Matip. So the game began as the game kind of left off between the two of these great teams. Um, City had so many chances to score against us. Um, they just couldn't finish it off. Like I guess they lacked clinicalness. Yeah. And as for us, whatever opportunities we created for ourselves, we have taken it. uh, Really good goal by Jota and Sadio. Also the build-up play to get those two goals, they were very crucial. Guys like Robertson, Alexander Arnold, and Mohamed Salah, everyone was getting involved. I think overall it's a very fair result if you think about the grand scheme of things. City did seem like the better team for this game. So yeah, I'm not too bothered by the scoreline. It kind of seems a bit flattering as well, considering just the first half. Yes, we did play much better in the second half. Again, very similar to the Anfield game earlier during the season. Um, so look, we gotta face the same lot again for the FA Cup semi-finals, but in between that, we have to play Benfica at home um, at Anfield. Hopefully, Klopp gets to rotate the squad, and a few of our main players they get a bit of a break. Yeah, I would like to see guys like Joe Gomez and the Simicasas and the Minaminos to be given at least 20 to 30 minutes of game time. I think it is going to be very crucial. We need to rotate our first team with our squad team, and it needs to be nailed on. If it is done really well, we can still accomplish a lot in this season. And the quad is still on, guys. The quad is still on.
Hey Copish everyone, this is my viewers review for the game between Man City and Liverpool. First of all, that was a relief. It just goes with what I've been thinking in my mind and what you guys have talked about, that we have been getting through our last few games with the combinations of ability and mentality, and more mentality rather than ability, but we saw a little bit of both in patches in yesterday's game. I like the fact that we can now bring, we have more options up front. Diaz tried to do a couple of things when he came on, and he was surrounded by three people in both situations that he couldn't keep the ball. So that shows how worried they are of our players and how much respect they're giving just that one person, let alone other people's in other areas of the field. I think you guys should consider rating referees sometimes as well. I thought he was very good in some places, the referee letting some games go, treating it as a derby. I think he understood the importance of the game. But yes, there are some things that he missed. In my opinion, he probably gets a 6.5, something like that. But it would be interesting to hear what you guys think of referees at times. I'm not saying we should put them on the ratings board, but just as a last piece of thought after doing the players and the manager. I don't really have much else to say. I want to throw a challenge out to other people that have never done a review show. We're up to 25 or 24,000 subscribers on Copish. We should be getting at least 24, if that's 0.1% of us. So this is my challenge. If you've never done a Viewers review show, hashtag do one. All right, thank you so much, guys. All right, until the next one, bye.
Hey, big up Copy Shop, time for letting me Another viewers, how I say in your show once again. Hope you lot are well and blessed. And yeah, here's my thoughts on the game. Spiritual tea in the building. And yeah, there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to talk about. So final score was Man City 2, Liverpool 2. Now firstly, before I dive into the things that happened in the game, can we just take a moment to just say that game was mad. The game was mad. Two of the best teams in England, two of the best teams in Europe, two of the best teams playing the best football, and two of the best teams. You have two of the top managers in the world in Jurgen Klopp and Pep. And I'm not basing it off of today. I just think today's game and even the game we had at Anfield, it just shows why Liverpool and Man City are two of the best teams in Europe and in the league, and that no other team can get close at the moment, because the levels that we both play at is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I think that game was end to end. It had everything. It had tackles, it had all the goals, it had drama, it had missed chances, it had good football. Like, it had everything you wanted in the game, and the final score was 2-2. And if you're judging it on the balance of play, I think a 2-2 is a fair result. It is a fair result in terms of how the game went. But this is where it gets techie now, because from a Liverpool fan, it's hard to judge what went wrong today. I think the first half we were very slow, and I think City were just. Like, I know they are rivals here, but we have to be real in it. City were absolutely ruthless in their press. I think they didn't let us get out of the gate. And I know that we were sloppy, and I know that we were slow off the blocks. And we've done that too many times this season, where we don't start games very well. And the worry that I had is that if we did do that against Man City, we won't even stand a chance in the game for me. And in that first half, City should have taken the game away from us. They should have. They should have been 3-1 up in that game for me. I think we were very slow. But then again, you have to credit Man City. I just think they didn't let us get out. They didn't let us breathe. They were onto us. And in that first 45 minutes, they suffocated us. They showed why they're the champions. And I gotta be real, we were slow off the blocks. But you have to credit Man City, because Man City were just ruthless at that. And when they're at their best doing that, you can't stop it. You cannot stop it. You can't stop it. So I just think that first half, we were slow. And I just think what annoyed me was that even though we didn't play that well, we still scored in the first half and we still managed to get in. And that was because I feel like our transition when we do counter is so scary and so quick that you can't stop it. And I think that we did get in that City goal. And when we did get in, we scored. And that was from our first transition and our first attack. So I just think what annoyed me was that in the first half, we weren't doing that enough. I think we were scared. We were slow off the blocks, and I feel like we gave Man City too much respect. And yeah, we just gave them too much respect in that first half for me. And I know City did well. I'm not going to take anything away from Man City. I did think that City were ruthless and they're hard to stop. But then again, I just feel like we did help them a bit of, we weren't brave on the ball and we kept passing it backwards and we weren't going forward. We weren't progressive enough. And I just think we were scared and we were shook in that first half to take it to them. But in the second half, that changed completely. Like, Liverpool looked like Liverpool again in that second half for me. I think, and the most important thing, and what pleased me the most, and I love seeing this, is that the key players, like your Van Dijks, like your Matips, your Trent, your Robertsons, Fabinho, Thiago, Mane and Salah, they all picked it up in the second half for me. They all picked it up because they weren't there for me in that first half. But in that second half, they picked it up. Levels were raised. We showed why we are better than Man City. We showed why we did take the league off them and why we are the European champions. In that second half, much better performance. We were braver and we stuck it on them. We stuck it on them in that second half for me. In that second half, City could have lived with us. I think the first half, City took that. Second half, we definitely took that because City could not live with us. Our pressing was on point. We didn't let them get out. The midfield were onto them. And the good thing is, yes, we were fighting a lot, but I loved it. I actually liked that we were doing that because it showed that we weren't having it with Man City in that second half. Like, we showed it to them in that second half for me. We didn't let them breathe. Yeah, tackles were going in, but we didn't let them breathe in that second half for him. And I think the second half, that was the Liverpool you wanted to see. And I just think a few players stepped up for me. I think Mane stepped up. He had a great game in that second half for me. And when he went to that false nine, I think he did even better, in my opinion. He held the ball up very well. He brought people into play. And I think Mane had a good game. Salah came into the game as well. Beautiful assist for Mane's equaliser. And I think Matip and Van Dijk were better. They were better. We dealt with the attacks better for me. And I just think that second half was a much better performance. And that's the Liverpool we want to see from me. So I think at the end, I think a 2-2 is a fair result. But from a Liverpool point of view, and as a fan, I'm kind of disappointed that we didn't start like that in the first half for me. I really didn't, because I just think through that game for me, you notice that every time City scored, they never really carried on from that attack. You notice that every time City took the lead, even when they took the lead twice in the game for me, they dropped off a bit. They didn't really go for it. And I just think that's because I think on the break, we're one of the best in the world for me. I think on the transition, we're so sick and fluid. One pass and we're in. And I just think that we brought the fear into Man City in terms of you always have to be cautious with us. And I just think we didn't bring that fear in that first half for me. So I think a 2-2 was a fair result. The title was not lost, but it's another game when we move.